All right, so we have three cards here for the general. We have three cards here for love. And we have two cards here for the overall outcome. I am using the Morgan Greer tarot deck for obviously the overall main spread. And I will be using the Miniature Smith Centennial for any clarifiers, along with two oracle decks towards the end. All right, so general, we have Knight of Pentacles, Five of Wands, Ten of Pentacles. All right, so in terms of the general, I feel like the focus is definitely on work or money. Some of you might be having an opportunity when it comes to work. This could also be money coming in as well, or some sort of information that is coming in towards you. Now, with the with the Five of Wands, there is some sort of conflict here. It could be that you're fighting amongst other people for this opportunity, so there's competition. Maybe there's like one opening and you and four other people have all applied, and it's still at a stage where you're duking it out with these other people in order to get the position. I definitely see that here. Now, for others, honestly, I think that actually for the majority, if that's the situation, I feel like you are coming out victorious. You might have some conflict in that the other people just might not be happy for the moment. They might think that they were more deserving or it should have been their opportunity. And so you might have some minor conflict with a few people who are giving you grief. But regardless, victorious energy here. And it's most likely coming with more money, more stronger foundation, a higher position with the Ten of Pentacles. You'll feel great. You feel confident. You'll feel stable and like you have wealth, you know. So I like this combination. Aside from, work and career, this could just involve money as well, where again, you win out on some form of competition that leads you to a fair amount of wealth, whatever wealth means to you. And when I say that, I mean, some people, 10 grand's a lot, 20 grand's a lot for others, or a substantial amount for others. It varies depending on who you're talking to. So that's pretty much what I mean there. And for some reason, sometimes with the Five of Wands, I think about football. Maybe I just have fantasy football in my mind. Anyway, regardless, you're winning out in a situation and you're coming out victorious, I feel, in terms of gaining a lot. You have a lot to gain here. Recognition, financial independence, a good position is coming up. I don't think you have to worry about the Five of Wands too much. Any competition that comes up around you, I feel like you are leagues ahead of them anyway. On the romance, we do have a male figure that's the first to come up. The King of Cups could be a water sign, might be someone who is, the King of Cups is interesting. Even though there's clearly a lot of emotion behind them, very rarely do they show it. They're somewhat similar to the King of Swords, except I find them to be the friendlier, more approachable of the two. And he does sometimes come up as a drinker as well, but we have this figure here. We'll clarify him. And after this character, we have death. So you could be ending a relationship or situation with this figure or with the figure that follows. Now, we actually have a male and female that is coming up here. The Queen of Pentacles. This can be an earth person, an earthy sign, or this can just be someone who you have a long established relationship with, who's dependable and confident. It might be somewhat of a homebody, because I tend to see the Queen of Pentacles that way. But regardless, it's very possible that the situation between you and this person is ending, or something is ending, because this is death between two people. We'll see what death is about exactly. As the outcome, we have the Emperor and the Page of Swords. This is an interesting outcome. We have like two people. This can be a much older energy and a much younger energy, and they're not facing each other. There could be conflict by the end of the month, or, maybe someone's talking behind your back. I feel that as well. And it could just be people around you at your job, where you live, friends, family. There's some sort of I'll use the word slander. I use a good old word, gossip, that's happening potentially, because sometimes the Page of Swords does indicate that for me. I do feel chatter going on around you, and while your back is turned, I'm seeing you more as the Emperor energy, honestly, in control, dominant, and or at least trying to take control of your life. Now, this could also represent a fatherly figure or an older person who you are dealing with, and it could be that you and that person are not seeing eye to eye, and the communication between you two is a bit unstable, or you're just not really connecting, and it might be a matter of time before there's a buildup, not a buildup of emotions, but an argument of some kind, because I get this very strong not seeing eye to eye. It's a little bit of a defensive energy as well. Okay, so what can you tell me about the King of Cups? Justice. All right, so it appears as though this king is making an obvious choice, a big decision on their part to end something. This could involve legal, and maybe that's what death is about as well. There's some sort of closure or chapter coming to a close here with the King of Cups, or this person is initiating that. And that could be you. It could be, again, your energy, that you're just taking on the energy of the King of Cups this month, and you're making an emotional decision. And it might be in the background. Death. Please show me a card for death. What's exactly this? Ooh. Ooh, relationship. Okay, so death. Well, this is this is the love portion side. So it did clarify the end being a relationship, a connection here, choosing to clearly end a situation because it's simply not working. Now, yeah, I'm severing a connection with someone, a romantic connection. What is your connection to the Queen of Pentacles? I am getting a separation. This could be a trial separation. It could be temporary for certain with the Four of Swords. And maybe this having decided to end a situation legally, or just, you know, ending a situation in general, you need to take a rest. Maybe it wasn't an easy decision to have to make. Let me get one more for death. Oh. All right, something about this situation that is ending, that you're most likely ending, is being hidden either from the general public around you, your friends, your family. You're not making it clear, or you're just doing it on the sly, which is in its own way the same thing. It could come out of left field for the other person. There is an element of getting away with something. If not you, it's the other person who's trying to get away with getting out of a romantic situation. Let me get one more for the Queen of Pentacles. It might not be an easy end. It might be something that you have to like keep fighting for, or the situation with this person might be a bit of a struggle, so they're not going to understand the ending, for instance, and there'll be a little bit of a battle as to why. You might have to defend your stance and have some reasonings, try to make sense of the situation for the other person. There is going to be a little bit of, I think, a back and forth battle between you and the other person. Okay. What is the Five of Wands? So the Five of Wands, we have the Sun, you know, and I like that energy. I feel like, again, it's coming out victorious. Yes, you have to fight a few people, you have to settle some differences, but you come out on top, and you come out with the Ten of Pentacles in hand. So I see success there. And do we want, yeah, let's get one on the Emperor. I feel like the Emperor might be your energy, or you're taking control of your life. You're becoming extremely clear and direct, and you might even be taking some risks because you just simply want to, and you're ready to start fresh. Now, it could be that behind your back, other people are in disagreements with you, and this is like a new cycle here that's coming across with the world. What is the Page of Swords? Ooh, two droppers here, and they're both nines. They're the Nine of Cups and the Nine of Pentacles. Maybe that's not as negative as I originally thought. We got Six of Swords, moving ahead. You got moving ahead towards some form of independence. Could be financial, could be romantic. Just feeling free and independent is a big deal here, and that's something that you wish for dearly. Maybe other people are giving you a little bit of grief about it because they didn't expect it from you. But for the most part, I see positivity here. You just might have to deal with people either saying things behind your back a little bit because you've made some sort of decision that others didn't expect, but you're okay with it because you feel freedom. All right, it feels a little bit weird. Like, I almost confused myself as to what I'm saying. So if it's not clear, let me know. I'm curious. Anyway, let's get an oracle card for the love. And we have time. Divine time is bringing you together. Love that is true has no time limit. Maybe some of you have been away from someone, or there's been a person in your life that you haven't been quite with, but at the same time you've had an association, and now might be the time where you two come together. Maybe death is the end of another relationship in favor of a new one. That's a possibility just as well. All right, let me get one from this Wisdom of the Oracle. I like you. Orphaned. I'm just going to actually check. What I get immediately is very similar to the Five of Pentacles, where on some level over the month of January, you might feel a little bit abandoned or uncertain about your situation. I'm just going to check the book a little bit just to see, refresh. Yeah, all right. So it's pretty much very similar to the Five of Pentacles. And there's a sense of loss here. And there could be a bit of a sacrifice that happens overall in the month. Or maybe a situation doesn't quite lead to exactly where you want it to, at least for the month. So don't fret. There's always February, right? There is a loss here that could be experienced. But what would you say to this loss? Okay, maybe I shouldn't pick clarifiers. All right, so you might be losing someone, and I don't mean like death or anything like that. Of course, you know, I can't really say anything for certain. I just prefer to stay away from that. But there is a strong shakeup, and it's tied to most likely a female water energy, someone who is very emotional, very in tune with their emotions. It could be a creative person. And as I say, you have a loss tied to them. It could feel quite dramatic. And this could be a sacrifice, though, that you have to make. And it could relate to the Death card. And we got the Empress here as well. So this could be a connection that you've had a strong bond to that is going away for some time. And you might temporarily feel separated from. There's a loss that might have to be dealt with. But overall, don't let that ruin the rest of the reading. There was a lot of positive cards, I feel. And January does not look like it's going to be a terrible month whatsoever. There might be some endings, but I think it's something that you initiate and you want on some level. And we do have here, again, a fresh new energy with the full Ace of Swords and the World. So aside from there being a loss, there is you taking control and starting a new chapter just as well. So we got a little bit of negativity right smack in the middle of my two positive cards here, the Five of Pentacles. And I feel like someone that might be close to you, an emotional connection, family member, friend, long-term friend, even a partner, a romantic partner, is potentially offering to help you when it comes to your finances or money. A friend may also be reaching out to provide you an opportunity to get you out of a difficult situation. And in doing so, and that person doing so, there's a lot of happiness here, and your connection to that person might deepen as a result. I do mostly get, again, someone extending a hand to help you because you're in need. You could also be doing this to someone else or for someone else. And again, I feel like the connection between you and that person deepens as a result. Others of you, and this is quite random, I guess, I am getting a love connection for some, where as you're waiting outside in the cold, literally, I mean, in some places it is quite cold right now, that you have a potential to connect and meet someone who might turn out to be a long-term or at least a strong romantic connection, or even just a friend, because I'm seeing this as waiting outside, waiting in line, to get into somewhere, some building. And as you're doing so, maybe you bump into someone and it ends up being, as I said, this connection that is quite strong. I see the way these two look at each other, and I see the potential here to keep communicating with them and, being asked out, whether it's as a friendship or not. The connection withholds for some time. And then just in general for the week, some of you are just finally getting out of a position where you're struggling financially, or where you were struggling. If you've had difficulties when it comes to money, I feel like that's easing on up in January. Maybe because there's a bonus involved, or just because you've gotten another job that pays more than your previous one. There's happiness, I feel, when it comes to finances, and you're no longer, I'm seeing this as reverse, where you're no longer in a position of any form of poverty for the time being. At least this was coming up for the week. For the overall outcome, we've got the Strength and the Devil. And on its own, I see this combination sometimes as a very lusty, strong sexual energy, which could be something that you experience this week. I mean, you do have some romance here with these cup cards. So if you've been out of the loop in dating, romance, and all that this week, it's possible that you might develop a very strong attraction or connection to someone. I think that reinforces it. And this definitely also going to be, as I said, sexual, physical connection with another person. Others of you might find yourselves really, really attached to a particular thing this week, whether that's work, another person, or a situation. You might find that your time is preoccupied with one particular thing, and it's quite hard to get out of, because for whatever reason, you just need to be engaged. With the Devil card, when it comes to attachments, I find that it's something, even though at times it may be unhealthy, I find that it is desired. So it's like gaming, for instance. I'm a big gamer, and it's like wanting to play. Oh, it's 8 a.m., that's okay. And then it's 8 p.m. and time goes by. So yes, it becomes a little bit of an addiction, but there's a strong attraction to something in particular this week that you're involved in, and you might find it hard to peel yourself away. And as I said, that could relate to anything. All right, so guide me to a clarifier for the Five of Pentacles. The Nine of Pentacles. So I definitely think that this 5 is on the way out, and you are becoming more confident when it comes to your finances, and you know, more money's coming in for you the start of January, and you're starting to peel yourself away from feeling like you always have to limit what you can spend and budget and all that. Not that budgeting isn't great, you know, I'll continue to do so, but you feel less restricted when it comes to money. Page of Cups. All right, I mean, the Hangman is usually my card of suspension, timeout, but I'm actually seeing this as the opportunity to hang out with someone. I'm seeing it quite literally. And I think that you're getting an invitation, as I said, to hang out with a connection that you're potentially meeting this week. Some of you will be taking the time out to think about whether or not you want to say yes or no, or think about whether or not you want to ask someone yourself. So you can see it that way too. Actually, don't need another one. All right, let me get just one for our good friends at the top. I feel like I've seen this card a lot. So whatever it is that you find yourself tied down to this week, maybe it's something that right for the moment is being kept hidden, or it has to do with, I feel like it's something that you're not necessarily proud in sharing. For instance, not everyone likes to admit they like to play games all the time, or if it's actually gambling or something of that sort, whatever this attachment you have this week, it's not the type of thing that you feel like you want to reveal. That's how I'm seeing the Five of Swords right now. That's interesting. And then for some of you, you might be feeling quite tied down to either a job or a marriage that you're looking to get out of. And this can be less so having the strong bond, but literally being attached to something, and the desire is to detach on the sly. That's for some as well. I just go with what I feel as the cards come out. I mean, that's pretty much what I have for you.